All right, so there's the recording starting. Looks like it's pulling. Everything looks good. All right, give it a second pause. All right, welcome back. If you found us here, then you're familiar with what you're doing and you're familiar with what we're about, which today is commiserating about what happened in episode 4 of. Man, it almost hurts to really call this a Star Wars show. But here we are. I am still Pips. I'm here with still Alex. Alex, I think we're gonna go into this pretty fast here. So, opening thoughts. What do you got to say about this episode?
This bordered somewhere between a travesty and criminal. Uh, Good grief, was this horrible?
Yeah. I think, man, when we were talking back and forth before we started up today, yeah. I think we both decided we have some thoughts, some notes, if you will, for the people who are responsible for this absolutely terrible show. Uh, Looks like you got a nice little frame for us. You said you pulled this from Reddit.
Yes. I do not remember if this was saltier than Crate or if it was Star Wars Kenobi, but both of those Reddits are not happy. And we can speak to this from the Wheel of Time perspective, but wow, imagine the show Reddit openly mocking your show. Like this is what like it would be like if Wheel of Time show was mocking Wheel of Time. Like that is how bad this Kenobi show is.
Well, that's pretty interesting. So obviously, saltier than crate. Familiar with that? I think anyone who's probably watching this or is familiar with the Star Wars fandom, obviously they're gonna know what's up there. But you're saying that the official, or maybe not official, but the large Kenobi subreddits are on board with hating on this show as well.
So there is a poll in this slide deck that will show the current mindset of the Star Wars Kenobi subreddit, and it is not good.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, we've been watching this, and I mean, it is not good. It's a charitable description. So that's good to that's interesting to hear because, like you said, I mean, the Wheel of Time did not have the same experience. You know, you were very much shunned, banned, suspended. Kicked over onto subs like White Cloaks if you wanted to actually talk about the show. So maybe that means the fandoms are finally bucking back and saying nope, enough is enough. We're sick of what you guys are doing.
Fingers crossed, man.
All right, well let's do it.
So Obi-Wan's was burned in the last episode when Vader decided to drag him through the fire and then inexplicably not pursue him and allow him to escape. Um, and apparently, one's arm being burned causes one to be like delirious. So he's like wigging out here. I don't know why. I don't know who informed Star Wars that they're only allowed to have flashbacks while someone is sitting in a hot tub, but I promise you that's not the only way you can do it. Like, oh
uh,
my god.
yeah, good point. Here we go. That's the serious burns that look. Honestly, those look like maybe second degree, probably mostly first degree burns.
He looks more dirty than he looks
I know
burned. Like,
it really is like it's like okay, so he's kind of bruised, is what I'm getting from that.
yeah, like it's so bad because like it doesn't even match like the burning of his clothes. Like his skin is
Yes,
far more burned than his clothes are. But
I was gonna say that if you looked at the previous one, it was like so he got burned, which makes his clothes dirty and disheveled, like burns do.
right. Also, shout out to REI for providing the rappelling equipment we're using to keep Obi in this back to tank. Oh my god.
Okay, so it goes straight into cut from him in the back to tank, and it goes over to right before this, right before she walks in, Leia is just doing her like, I'm talking really loudly in like a very flat voice, just saying like, "Do you know who my father is?"
Uh,
uh,
big fan when you can do the it's like when you get pulled over by the cop and the celebrity's like, "Do you know who I am?" Like
I
that,
I'm sorry. This gave me such deja vu to Spaceballs. Just like literally the capture of the princess by Dark Helmet. It's just this scene. Like, I am a princess of Alderaan. Like, first of all, she's like 6. Like, she would be just crying.
right?
But
I,
oh man.
how incompetent was this production? Like everybody knows if you're casting for a 10-year-old, like a 10-year-old you're playing, you want like a 12 or 13-year-old. You don't want an 8-year-old. And she was 8 when they were filming this.
That is the thing that keeps on really getting to me because I keep on hearing I hear them say, or I hear like other people talking about the show, talking about her being 10. And I'm looking at her and I don't believe you. So it does not surprise me that you're saying, no, the actor is actually 8. And yeah, like that is a like a thing that people make fun of Hollywood for, but they also just sort of understand is that nobody is actually a high schooler. Like, no one is actually a child. They're all older because this is what you get. You get a girl who can't act because she literally doesn't know what acting is yet.
Yeah. We've established that Riva can read minds. Why Riva does not begin every, situation like this by reading someone's mind is just completely illogical. Like, about the only positive thing I will say about this scene, and the show does it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
is it does something totally stupid in an episode, and then like in the between time, like the apologist fans will be like, "No, it's fine." Like this extremely like mental gymnastics way of thinking is the reason that it's fine. And then in the very next episode, they always get shit on. Like they were constantly saying like, "Oh, Leia didn't know that Ben was Obi-Wan, and that's why she didn't know that it was the same Jedi that rescued her. So when she sent the transmission in A New Hope,
I
she
mean,
just didn't know that she'd been rescued by Obi-Wan."
it's the same. It's the same thing we saw with Wheel of Time, where people are like, "Oh, just wait until the end of the season. They'll make all of this stuff. It all makes sense." And it's like, no, like you're saying that because you're holding out hope that the writers for this show are halfway competent and are doing these things intentionally. They are not. They are terrible at their jobs, and they're creating these plot holes and doing these stupid things because they're stupid. They have no plan to fix these problems later. It's just going to get worse. And
Yeah,
that's exactly what we're watching. Uh,
right. Like, when was the last time that the writing for a show was entirely incompetent through 3/4 of the show, and then they all of a sudden like massively turn it around at the end? Like
yeah.
the only one that I can think of is The Mandalorian season 2, and they didn't even really turn it around. They just threw Luke Skywalker in there, and everybody like justifiably lost their mind.
It was just
But it's
fan
not like,
service.
yeah, they just found fan service more powerful than their shit writing. That's all it was. So I don't even count that as an example.
Oh man. All right, so she's interrogating a 6-year-old because, like, why not? I'm sure she has valuable intelligence because people tell children things all the time.
Well, that was actually that's why I grabbed this one, because they're telling the leaders of the resistance that they have to go rescue Leia because she knows
I know.
everything.
It's just like, yeah, she knows everything. Like, how? She was in a hut with some stuff on the walls. Like, unless you had your entire plan written on the side of that wall, in which case Riva apparently saw that wall, so like she knows it all anyway. It's like, what could she possibly know? I mean, I'm sure the apologists are going to be like, oh well, Obi-Wan was lying to this guy, trying to get him to help, or I don't know, something. This scene was ridiculous for other reasons, though, namely the like, I can't help you, and then like the Star Wars equivalent of the but my son. It's just, but my wife, 30 seconds later, I will help you.
Help me. No, please. Okay. I mean,
Oh man. Oh, that was so painful to watch.
right? I don't even know like why this particular like couplet was included if the goal wasn't to just dunk on Obi-Wan. Like, why would you have Obi-Wan say something so stupid as you don't know what the Empire can do to the group of soldiers dedicated to fighting the Empire who
Yep.
just saved
Yep.
his life?
Yep.
Like, Jesus.
Here we go. Yes. Yes. This scene, man, anybody who really just wants to understand the terrible writing of this show and can't force themselves to watch the entire thing, that's fine. Just go, what are we, 2 minutes into this episode? Watch this scene and watch these people just absolutely ships in the night passing, like talking past each other. Like the dialogue that they are saying is not something that would be said between humans facing each other having a conversation about the same thing. Like it's just nonsense.
Downright incoherent. I love this. Like, why aren't there any defenses on the base? Well, no one would be stupid enough to attack them. Like, my God, people, if like a massive like base of like the most highly skilled, Sith people was sitting there completely undefended, why would you not bomb the fuck out of this installation? Especially because we're about to see it was designed by fucking morons.
Very true. Um, so I don't know if you have another shot of this scene or not. So I'm just gonna go. Okay, so her still talking. Yep, sure. I'm gonna go with him because she's 10 or something. Whatever. We're not actually having a conversation. And then she decides that she's gonna leave. But when she decides she's gonna leave, she says something that is absolutely asinine, which is, "We're wasting time here. I'm gonna get fueled and ready," or something akin to that. And oh man, her saying we are wasting time planning is the dumbest thing I've ever heard someone say prior to going to attack a supposedly impenetrable installation target, whatever you want to call it. Like, planning an air mission is the only thing that is worth putting your time into. Like, literally every second you can devote to planning prior to having to execute is what you should be doing. Oh man.
Right? I mean, you can't think of any reason like you might think to, put pen to paper on a
This is
combined airborne amphibious assault that
this
needs to
is
hit simultaneously.
uh it only gets worse from here. All I can say is, like, there are times here where I was literally shouting at my television watching this unfold. And it's fine though. She's a captain, and we're going to find out that she's the commanding officer of people she's never met before. It gets worse. It gets worse. Oh man.
I'm hitting the wrong button. Okay, so Obi-Wan Kenobi's struggling to move the inside of a disposable camera, or I assume that's what this is. Yes. So that's a thing. Like, remember that he's struggling to move a disposable camera now because, man, this later in the episode, dude leveled up.
Yeah, the inability to, like, figure out what the power level of characters are, pretty freaking frustrating. But all right, we're back to the interrogation. Because again, here here's the thing that I don't get. So sure, she can do mind reading, and she's gonna try that later and fail because she's so powerful. But you're talking to a small child who you know for an absolute fact was out of your sight with these people, with these smugglers, whatever you want to call it, for like a total of maybe a day or two, right? and
Yeah.
you think that she has important information for you. Like, what could she possibly know?
Guess my next question is, okay, so let's say that she really wants information on the Path group. Why did this fucking moron kill the pilot that was working for the Path right before she grabbed Leia?
Well, it's because Kenobi is the only thing that matters unless the path matters, unless Kenobi matters. It depends second to second. It really changes.
Yes, the priorities are completely nonsensical.
That's
Oh
actually a
my.
good point. Okay, yes, here we go. The little ship coming in, TIE fighters everywhere. Well, those will never be relevant or important. What's the opposite of Chekhov's gun when you show a gun that's never fired?
Right? Fucking Disney Star Wars. Uh,
Oh, this is my favorite. Okay, okay. So I'm just gonna break this down for a second here because this is where she's like, give me your clearance stuff. Um, so yeah, this dude is presumably, and he says he's the security officer for this level or something like that. Got it. Okay. He's basically some sort of a gate guard or something like that. Got it. Uh, he would never act this way. The idea that he's just gonna be like, oh yes, I need your papers, and she's gonna say, is there something wrong? And then the whole thing about like, I'm your commanding officer, you'll address me as sir. Then he says yes sir and gets totally cowed by her when like, no, that's not how this works. First of all, she's not your commanding officer, she's maybe an officer. We don't know what this dude's rank is. He's a man, so probably low. um, but like the way you get around these types of situations is not try and steamroll over the dude and be suspicious as shit. You say shit like, "Ah, oh, man, this is so weird. Like I left my card at my desk." Like
right.
you act like a freaking human, and the dude be like, oh yeah, I hate it when that happens. Like I just want to know like if anyone who's writing this has ever just had human interactions, has ever had to go through like, I don't know, TSA security at the airport. Like who has ever thought that if you just try and bowl over a mid-level bureaucrat that that won't go poorly for you? Let alone like security guards on military installations get an absolute hard on for the idea of freaking handcuffing a superior. Like, that's what they live for. Mouth off and find out.
Dude woke up today with the exact dream of this happening.
Okay, here you go. She's about to start being super suspicious, talking on her radio, just whispering into a microphone. And I think this guy disappears later in the scene.
Yes, he does, but it's fine. There are four other officers in the room, all within earshot, and she is literally talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi like she has her fucking phone on speakerphone sitting at her desk.
Oh, I'm so glad you saw that too. I'm just like, man, a galaxy far, far away doesn't have airbuds, huh?
Oh my Christ.
I wonder who was like, hey, we're gonna build this underwater base with all these like windows underneath, but they're not like reinforced ones, not shielded. All right, so I just want to know how he got here.
I mean, Christ. I'm assuming he swam all the way. Like, where did she drop him off?
I literally rewinded and watched this scene again because I thought that I thought that I must have looked away in like the time where like he popped out of a hatch or something like that. Because I was like, no, they're not gonna just cut to him swimming, are they? No, they exactly did that. So in a water planet, presumably he got dropped from the shuttle outside of visual range from the base and swam like 20 miles. Oh man, classic.
Guys, if you are making a film, there's something called an establishing shot. You learn about it on like your third day of film school, and it is vitally important to things making logistical sense to the audience. Use them. Do not be like
uh, okay. This scene made me laugh because we just watched him swim and he comes through this thing. He is bone dry for the entire rest of this episode. He's getting like followed around in a corridor by stormtroopers, and it's like, they're not just following the puddles and the sound of squishy boots.
this.
uh,
I take it a step further. Like, remember when Star Wars was good? And like when the good guys infiltrated an Imperial base and knocked out stormtroopers, they took their armor so that they might more easily be able to move while inside of the base.
oh, we'll get to that. Now they hide in coats.
Yeah, so instead of stripping this dude's armor off, he just left him in the middle of
Yeah,
the entry port, I guess
yeah.
we're calling that.
I have no idea what that place is or what it's supposed to do, unless the Imperial Inquisitor base is doing science experiments.
Good God.
Just Jacques Cousteau is working out of this space.
The
Oh,
droid makes a run at Riva because
yeah. Okay,
reasons.
this is like her trying to build rapport with Leia, which like you just told her that you, so you didn't say you killed Ben, but like you basically are like, well, if I didn't kill Ben, my friends did. Like, you're not gonna be friends with this girl. You are clearly the bad guy. She knows it. Like, I'm not sure what this is supposed to do, other than maybe establish that, like, oh, see, Reva's not a bad person. She just was done bad along the way. It's not her fault. And I just don't buy it. I think that this is, if anything, it's an interrogation tactic. She's lying, or at least I, as the audience, have zero reason to believe this sob story about how I had a droid too when I was a kid and it was taken away from me, like everything, by a man. It's just like, I don't buy it. I have no reason to trust you at all.
Yeah, guys, if interrogation scenes, it's good cop, bad cop, not bad cop, good cop, bad cop, good cop, bad cop, good cop.
this
Like you
scene
just like
This scene would be better if it was just Harvey Dent and he was just turning his face.
right. I mean, if you were trying to establish, that the Empire was even sort of like, competent, why wouldn't you have uh, Riva as bad cop and one of the other Inquisitors as good cop? But that's
maybe
that's
this
too hard.
maybe the stormtrooper in the background was the good cop and just all those scenes got cut.
Good,
uh
good
it's
grief!
worse the more that we talk about it. It's just, it's so bad.
I
uh
didn't even mean to catch what are they keeping down there. I just couldn't get over her fucking like thumb-sized microphone.
it's, yeah, it, man, what a bad scene. I think he's about to go into the secure sector, right?
Uh, I think he's about to hide from a security
Oh
guard.
yeah, you're right.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
This is where
She's about
she's
to
about to kill
impale
this
an
dude.
officer.
Again, let me see some identification, but like over there. Also, I'm just gonna be grunting as you kill me for a while.
Man, this guy must have been a complete asshole of an officer, because I'm assuming his subordinates have to have heard her kicking the shit out of him, and
Well,
they're just like,
worse than that. So when she finally, offs him and just leaves his body around the corner, and she comes back to her station and picks up her microphone again, the dude who was sitting at the desk next to her 30 seconds earlier is now gone. Like, he saw what was happening and was like, I think it's a good time for a break. Again, more interrogation. Good, because she knows things. God.
I didn't realize till I was going through this just how many interrogation scenes there were. A bizarre choice to spend so much time on these two, considering the complete lack of activity happening.
I mean, it does explain kind of the rabid defense of the actors in the show, specifically her. It's like, yeah, she's the main character. They have to come to her defense.
Oh, there is a thing that I was actually going to talk about with Wheel of Time, but it applies to this as well. And this is another thing that gets taught is, um, when you're writing a pilot, your prologue is either a history of the world or it is a character insight into your main character's childhood.
Okay.
Then your first scene is the one that you establish the skill that makes your main character, you know, good and also relatable. So if we're following like sort of standard film school pilot rules, the prologue of this first episode was Riva at the Jedi Temple during the Order 66 getting ambushed. And then the first scene is Riva arriving at the town and throwing the knife at the bartender. So by traditional pilot script writing rules, Riva is absolutely the main character.
uh, you know, I'm not sure that I noticed that Riva was in the Jedi Temple scene. Uh,
It's
yeah,
actually pretty amusing
I think I
if you
might have
go
just
back
blocked that out.
if you go back and watch it.
I don't think I
All
have
of
the
the
fortitude.
kids,
Can't do that again.
all of the kids are wearing gray robes,
Yep.
except for the black girl who's wearing an orange robe.
Oh man. Yeah, I must have been man, I must have gotten drunk early when I was watching that.
Oh, just a God help us all. Yeah, I
This
want to
is
call attention to this scene because Disney is about to tell us that Riva can be reformed,
yeah, for sure.
and
Especially
I just
after her speech in the interrogation room about, how she had a rough childhood.
yes, like I want everybody to remember that Riva was very comfortable sending a child to the torture chamber.
What This is such
At
a
least she
stupid scene.
looks scared. Like
I guess except like she doesn't sound scared. Like
no, she doesn't sound
like
scared at all.
her voice, like her face sort of looks scared, but like I don't freaking know. Like maybe they were showing her like a freaking someone walked in a scary costume to get this like facial expression because she's clearly not acting. Her voice is exactly the same as it is everywhere else. She's just like monotone, loud talking. Like it's awful.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about a good actor in this situation would give you scared and being 90% successful portraying bravado, but you could still tell that they're scared. And
I
unfortunately, this is just a kid actor who just doesn't have that in their repertoire yet.
I'm just
It's
saying
just
like
it's
a
not.
child though wouldn't even be no like the bravado which wouldn't have been there in the first place would be gone by now. She would be weeping, crying, like have these people literally never interacted with a child? Like you
eh,
are right now you are threatening a small child with extreme pain and the child has every reason to believe this is real. Like I
Yeah.
Oh man, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. And then Obi-Wan radios Tala that he needs a distraction because he heard not any of the previous screams, but the
Just the one, just the one. Yeah.
one of the same volume and
Yep.
terror levels. But okay, so I was told it cannot wait, so Riva has to put off torturing a child.
Yeah, which is good. That would have been really harmful to the brand for sure if she had gone through with that.
Yes, but now now she didn't torture a child. She was just going to torture a child. It's cool.
Man,
We can have
her
people.
her like fake officer ranks have like really gotten her far in this organization too. Like, okay, she bullies her way past the security guard who's totally spineless and unreasonably willing to just let people into the security sector when he has perfectly good reasons to stop them and laugh in their face while like putting them in cuffs.
Yeah,
uh and then apparently convinces multiple other people that like, yeah, you should go interrupt the crazy murder lady and have them come talk to us. Oh my goodness. And this
if
is like the
Obi
command
Wan,
room too, right? Like they're in like the big chamber with the desk and the freaking Grand Inquisitor's empty seat right now, aren't they?
yeah, I believe if this was a spaceship, they'd be on the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, if if Obi Wan Kenobi had a sack 10% of the size of the woman who just had to walk in and interrupt Riva torturing a child at the command of Tala or whatever, this show would have been over immediately.
That's a good point. I mean, you're listening to a child who's presumably being tortured because the door's closed. You don't know if it started yet, screaming bloody murder about the person who's torturing them. That person is a deranged force user who chops people's hands off for fun. And you're like, maybe I should just pretend that I like got lost and I'll open the door in a few minutes when she's done.
This entire conversation, the I'm not a
It was
traitor. I'm a
bad.
double agent.
It was
Actually, I'm a
bad.
triple agent. Actually, I'm a quadruple agent.
It was bad. Yes. Yes.
Please remember that Riva can read minds.
Oh man. I don't understand what was happening here either. He like turned on his lightsaber and turned it off several times when he can deflect blaster bolts, and we've seen them do that in Star Wars before. Like, it's in the dark, the lightsaber turns on, it looks awesome, people love it. Also, he's beating these dudes like the lightsaber is like a baton, not a thing that chops them into little pieces.
The lightsaber beating rather than chopping is
Yeah.
infuriating. I also love that apparently if the alarm goes off in the base,
Yep.
all the lights turn off. Or maybe it's just all the lights in the torture room.
I'm gonna
Like,
say I actually assumed that Obi-Wan turned the lights off in the torture. That was my assumption watching this. So like the lights going off, that didn't necessarily bother me. The He hit that stormtrooper on the left, I think 4 times with his lightsaber, and the dude was still a full-bodied, altogether human lying on the ground.
yeah, that's infuriating.
And then the one on the right is like, "There's no way to escape. Like, show yourself." And then he's like, "I'm going to kill you now. You should have been running away."
Corridor, perfect. Yeah, literally anything. I love this. Obi-Wan literally jumps over the body. The arms start moving like long before he reaches her. Like he doesn't press a button. The arms just know she's being rescued and pull
Obviously.
away.
Well,
Just
the arms would have gotten in the way of the shot where we could see all of her great emotional acting that's happening right there as he looks like he's tying her shoe and she looks like she's taking a shit.
uh,
Yeah. Gosh. She at least like her face right there, she knows she's dead. Like, she knows she's in a bad position. I get that. I feel for her.
yes. I'm even going to say all due respect to Ewan McGregor. She's the best actor in this series.
Yeah, yeah. Ilaria Sands or whatever her name is from Game of Thrones. Just
Yep.
yeah, I get it. I thought these things had blasters on them.
The bit with the seeker droid earlier where like it didn't see them because it like
Oh, because he
it
closed a
wasn't
door
looking.
in front of it and it like looked through the window glass in the door. And I was like, oh yeah, because that makes sense. Your patrol droid can't open doors in your base.
Right? It just occasionally gets lazy, like a minimum wage
it's
security guard at
it's
a Walmart, and
it's
just
the
doesn't
equivalent
bother.
of a Roomba. If you close a door, it just bumps into it a couple times and then goes on the rest of its pattern.
My other objection was apparently, if you don't know anything about Star Wars, you just think these things have one like forward facing like camera. Like
Oh
if you
yeah.
were designing a robot whose only job was to drive around and like look at things, like these things have cameras in every direction.
Yeah.
Like eh, you can't hide from them by stepping to the left.
Yeah, you can only do that against stormtroopers. Just step slightly out of frame.
She's like, "It's
Oh,
Obi-Wan Kenobi."
which okay, Riva should have like instantly killed this woman, right?
Yes, she should have a lightsaber through the gut right now.
Like it's like he's definitely on this planet, and then like never mind, he's here. She's definitely a spy. Kill, kill. Like
Yeah, because
okay,
Kenobi's the only thing that matters.
yeah, yeah. I guess I did get ahead of myself. There it is. Just bonk. Like literally like a gentle sort of bump on the side. The guy behind her is just watching it happen. No response.
The fucking
She could have been shot in the back. Right there. Dead.
eh, to anybody who's watching this, like, is going to like go back and watch this scene. Watch
Don't.
both of them drop their weapons, and I don't mean like get it knocked out of their hands. I
It's
mean literally throw their weapons away.
it is so much the trope of just like very helpful stuntmen getting their asses kicked by a female actress, which like it's fine, right? But like why not just have her do something smarter where like instead of pushing his head, if she had just right here, both hands on his hand with the gun, twisted her body in a sort of like roll to the right and then shot the dude on the left with the dude on the right's gun and then twisted it out of his grip and shot him, I would be like, yeah, they weren't
Yeah,
ready for her to resist. Totally believable. But she's like, nah, I'm going to punch you in the helmet.
right. You ever played football and you ever see like a fight in practice? Don't be the guy punching people's helmet, and don't be the guy taking your helmet off to swing it at other people as a weapon. That's not how helmets work. Oh my god.
Oh, the only scene where he starts doing things like kind of cool. So, yep, lightsaber stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like this is like at this point there was such a low bar for this episode that like it was just like action. Thank God.
Yeah, right. Oh, wow. Obi-Wan's not embarrassing himself anymore. Sweet. That's still
I love that.
dumbass stormtrooper
I love
shit,
that
but
she's like I don't know what she's doing.
right. Just expecting that light column.
In my mind, they put a couple pieces of candy behind that pillar to get her to walk that way.
Uh, oh
Yep.
yeah, these two shoot each other.
I
It's not
thought
like he
I thought he
deflects one.
did he not deflect it? I thought he deflected it.
He deflected one, but no, the security droid and the stormtrooper shoot each other without him helping or contributing.
He didn't even like dodge out of the way, so they were like shooting at him and like it.
No, he didn't dodge. They legitimately like
Fantastic.
missed his arm and hit it. It was we are taking the stormtroopers can't hit shit trope to new and dangerous levels
It's like they literally can't hit someone 10 feet away in a hallway.
with their back turned. Goddamn, the first guy who invents an automatic blaster to give to these stormtroopers is going to kill all the Jedi.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this happened.
The uh, the structural engineer responsible for this needs to be fucking shot.
That's what I was saying before. Like, you have an underwater base and you just put a bunch of big windows, and they're not blaster proof. They're not shielded. They don't have any like auto locking doors. Nothing. And then after this floods, they're like, that's not going to hold this for long. What do you mean it's not going to hold it for long? In theory, the only reason these doors should be here is to hold back the ocean in the case of a flood.
The other thing that this made me really mad about is this ruined a particular piece of headcanon of mine, which was basically that the Empire had the most competent middle management in the history of fiction because, the stormtroopers are entirely incompetent. So
Darth
there's no way
Vader
that,
is doing ridiculous shit unconnected with controlling an empire.
yes, Kylo Ren is just a complete lunatic. So the only way that this organization could have conquered the universe
Yeah.
is if their middle management and engineering core was just beyond reproach.
Yeah. They had all of the sergeants were fantastic.
Yes. So this is ruining even that headcanon for me. Like they can't even leave, that alone.
Oh man, it's all right. He's gonna hold it. Yeah, he's gonna hold it. That's fine. He couldn't fucking do that thing that you pointed out earlier, but this will be fine.
Yes, he can't move a disposable camera, but he can hold back. I think somebody actually looked it up because this entire sequence,
Mm-hmm.
and by that I mean basically this entire episode, is a copy of the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order game.
Okay.
So the writers of this show took a Star Wars video game, wrote it worse with worse characters, and just shat it out. And if we assume that the water depth is the same as it was in the Jedi Fallen Order game, I believe I read that he is holding back 165 tons of water.
We've already spent so much more time thinking about this scene than clearly they did.
Yes. So not only was he able to hold back the water, but he was also able to break the windows further down.
And have them also held back for like dramatic effect.
Yes.
And then the slowest flooding water of all time.
I actually think it says a lot about McGregor's commitment to this show that he was not willing to be wet for this episode.
It
Just
was in
basically
his
said,
contract.
yeah, he was like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing that. I want to call the union. I want to call the guild. They're like, fine, you can be dry.
All right. Again, still no water. I love that. He's literally like, you see the water crash into the hallway and the door closes on it with like the hallway full of water. No water on the other side.
No.
Ridiculous. And then she hands him a coat, and then he's clearly two people wearing one cloak.
Okay, so I had two questions about this. Is this worse than the Leia chase scene in the forest?
Yes.
Fair.
I'm
And
gonna I'm
then,
gonna say yes only because I think the Leia chase scene, like, I think that was incredibly dumb, went on way too long, and was like comically shot and acted. But like, she would have attempted to run away. They would have chased her down and ultimately caught her. So like, that happened the way it should have happened, just way too long and stupid. This would not work and would not have happened.
see, I think the fact that they felt the need to establish that there were actually 4 feet visible for everyone on the base to see,
Sure.
like, had like I actually didn't catch this at first. I was just sort of like, staring off into the distance. Oh, there's just 2 people there. Why they felt the need to show more of this was
Well, it's
just
like she peeks her head out.
she does at one point. And then we have to just completely humiliate our villains because our villains are going to walk by
Yep.
2 idiots, one trench coat.
Yes. 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 There it is.
Liz can actively look out of the trench coat.
All right,
Riva is
obviously
go.
she's searched the entire base already and has found them. That's good. I mean, hey, maybe she knew that they were going to the launch pad. Okay, fire.
Yeah, but I like that she doesn't even address Obi-Wan or Leia. She addresses
The spy.
Tala. Yes.
Gosh, I didn't even catch that until you said it. Good point. But Kenobi is the only one that matters for those paying attention at home. All right, so this is they're coming in to do their attack run. Is that what's happening here?
Well, this is yes, they're about to come in and do their attack run. But I love
How many people are behind them?
that well, not only are the people that are behind them, but for whatever reason, they didn't bother to crop out the people nonchalantly walking across. Like, there's clearly a large circle of people pointing guns at this guy, and we just have these two people in the middle ground just walking between them.
Oh
Like,
man.
I know
Uh,
the Empire is incompetent, but surely Riva walking out with her lightsaber and yelling dramatically.
uh, okay. So again, putting back my putting it back on my sort of expert opinion hat here. So this is charitably called a danger close like call for fire right here. um, so they're wearing the same uniform as the Empire. They've had zero communication with the people in these ships. Maybe you could argue that they came in on a high speed run and noticed the people who were in like a circle around the couple other people and were like, the ones in the middle are our friends. But like, look at the explosions going off. And when you see the explosions like hitting, the stormtroopers in like an area. So like, these are not like a laser hits you, you die. They like concuss into people who are near them, I guess. This is the most ridiculous like close air support sort of thing I've ever seen someone try and put on film. like uh
It's okay. They were
uh
going 600 miles an hour and happened to pick out the fucking 8-year-old
it's
in the
like
middle and knew not to shoot at her.
like the planning for this thing, the execution for this thing, if I was the air mission commander, I would have fired every single one of these people for just like, hey, we think we might do this. You're fired. Next guy who's not a complete idiot, tell me what your plan is. like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
The other thing,
Oh,
like from a like a show perspective, why are these people here? Why are they here now? And the
they're
answer
just
is just
walking around on a launch pad as you
well,
do.
oh yeah, I was just going to say, why are the ships showing up now?
Oh,
This might be the most offensive because we needed it for the plot to
yes.
happen decision I have ever seen put on film.
Like I said, no communication with them whatsoever. You're 100% right. I guess you know what? You know what they were probably doing because we find out that these can hover. I'm going to say that they were hovering just below the edge of the platform.
No, we see them make a very obvious straight bombing run. Like,
You're right. Yep, yep. Oh, it's
shout out to
just
this
so.
supposedly impregnable military installation for not having fucking radar.
I know. It's like okay, they don't have shields or guns or radar. Like, what do they have a squadron of interceptor TIE fighters for if they literally don't have anything to trigger them launching? Also, Darth
It's
Vader is
also
apparently orbiting this planet right now, so I guess they
yes,
don't have
there's
any radar either.
right. There's a big ass fucking star destroyer in space at the moment.
You know what
Like,
it is? They had to cut out for time. They cut out the part where Eagle One or was it Eagle Five? Eagle Five came in and jammed the radar with the raspberry.
God help us.
We're having trouble with the radar, sir. This literally, like, this episode was watching Spaceballs.
love that they're heading at this wall at full speed. And this is not even the best still image of this. I thought this was when I grabbed it, and then I hit play on the video, and I didn't realize they got about 10 feet closer to this wall, going
Nice.
full speed than I was able to capture it here. And then they just teleport.
Yeah.
Like, because when you're going hundreds of miles an hour, you know, your turn radius is what, 15 feet?
Hey, can confirm. Do that every day, man. You just go as fast as you want, and then you just stop on a dime, dude. It's that simple. It's that simple.
I also love how big the explosions are here. Well, I guess we'll get to that. Nobody shoots them.
Just look at this. Literally, people are dying all around them from those freaking lasers, and these three totally fine. And again, they were dressed the same. Like these dudes just run in, blast everything in a freaking Empire suit, I guess, and conveniently miss our intrepid heroes.
What even adding on to that, they very specifically say in the first part of this that they are not soldiers. Like they
Yep.
are not
Yep.
trained to do that, and they use those ships for hauling sewage.
Yep.
And yet they are somehow fucking Top Gun ace fighter pilots when it comes to this.
Also, I think those things right behind that stormtrooper are the explosives that they're going to use in a minute, like racks of fuel cells or something like that. Man,
Yep.
convenient none of those got hit either.
Right.
Just explosions going off all around them, and like, man,
It might have been that some of them did get hit, but main characters are immune to explosive damage.
that is true.
Like,
Again, just yep, got it. Grunting, running with lightsabers. It's great. Oh, this, yeah. So, so I think you pulled the stats on this. I was thinking, I was like, this is maybe a two-seater. I mean, we've seen these intimately in Star Wars before. Everyone should recognize these from Empire. We know that it was like, yep, there's Luke up front, and was it Dax was his backseater?
yeah, his tow cable guy.
But we're about to just clown car this motherfucker.
Right. Jesus. Oh my god.
The scene of Riva here, and you probably don't have a still of this. Anyone who really wants a laugh, just go back and watch this scene. So after it's like gone away and is no longer shooting for her, she does two more, I think two more, of like waves her lightsaber a little bit, like she's still kind of pantomiming her like blocking laser thing. And they just like didn't cut the scene right. So like the speeder is already going off into the distance and it's like a close up of her and you see her like kind of shrug her shoulders and move her lightsaber a couple times and it's like that's a really awkward thing for a person to do. Oh, she thought she was still being CGI'd.
The the speeder on the left.
The one that was hovering, yeah.
Yes, the hovering was amazing.
Man,
Like,
how easy would it have been to hit a tow cable onto the leg of a walker if you could hover next to its leg for a second?
right? Oh my god. She's slapping back like fighter bolts.
Yes,
You can't
yes.
do that, guys. That's not how this works.
No, it's fine. Just consume the product.
Right? I, there was literally a guy on Reddit that I saw arguing this. He was like, moving on. R.I.P. to fucking Wade. Wade deserved better.
Poor Wade. I love he just like looks at her like he's just so disappointed after this. Like he's just like, man, you made us all look bad today.
That dude is probably sitting there thinking like, Jesus Christ, Vader is going to kill
All of us.
everyone involved with this. I'm leaving. I'm
Little
getting in my ship and I'm leaving.
Little does he know, Vader actually kind of a chill dude. I mean, he's very forgiving, very he's reasonable. He's a, you know, scores highly on those sort of command climates. You were warned what defeat would bring, like a little bit of gentle choking.
I let them go. I'm assuming at this point, real Vader would have cut her head off.
Yes. Like, first of all, the I let them go. Like, no, you didn't let them go. You clearly didn't let them go. Like, you could maybe argue it doesn't matter that they got away. I put a tracker on their ship. But like, you would lead with the I put a tracker on their ship, not I let them go. Cuz yeah, Vader would be like, "You let them go?" slash.
Yeah, yeah, like not I let them go. How about please, dear God, don't kill me. I have a contingency plan.
Yes. I I've underestimated your stupidity. Yes, yes, you did.
It's
I love how just Vader is such a freaking chump in this show. Like, she just straight lied to him about the Grand Inquisitor's death, and he just bought it. She just lied to him about this is my plan the whole time, and he just buys it. He is absolutely a freaking chump. Like, one of the best villains of like any IP ever, and they are making him into a joke.
yeah. I I literally don't even know what to say about this. Like anybody defending this, I actually think badly of you as a person. Like I try not to make that conclusion about properties like this. You're an idiot, and I don't feel bad for you.
Or not.
That this line,
uh,
I think they'll never know how much you sacrificed for them from WandaVision is worse than this.
uh,
But damn, is it close? I, Kenobi is all that matters. Perfect. Why the fuck did you let him escape, you fucking idiot?
also, this whole scene, I don't know. You probably have the rest of her line about the tracker here, right? So I'll let you go on to it.
No, I didn't
Okay, cool.
actually.
So the whole thing, like, I put a tracker on the ship. All this, it's like, why? You know where Kenobi is going. He's taking her to Alderaan. You
Yeah,
know this. There's zero reason to track any of these people. In fact, there was zero reason to like have a conversation with the child because as soon as Kenobi showed up to try and get the child, you could have just rolled up and grabbed the child's parents who are still on Alderaan and said, "Hey, I know that you contacted Kenobi. So guess what? You're going to tell me everything about Kenobi." Like, the entire plot of this season falls apart in that they know that Kenobi and the Organas are together in the conspiracy.
yeah, it completely collapses. The entire premise of this season is beyond stupid. Uh,
I mean, the
uh,
only the only thing you can say as a defense of this is that like it establishes why Tarkin blows up Alderaan. He was like, "Yeah, you guys have been rebels the entire time. We've known the entire time. So, yes, we're killing the rebel planet."
Do you think they were actually proud of like having added that tiny little bit to the lore? Because I don't even think like that really makes sense. Like, I mean, I'm assuming the
I
Death
think
Star.
I think that they are proud of literally all of it. I think they're proud of all of it. Disparu did a breakdown of the writers talking about the show. Watch that. Like, the way these people talk about this show and where they see their role in the franchise and in the lore, just screw these people. Like, Yeah.
I, I that's the only conclusion that I can make is that this is that horrible combination of hubris and ignorance. You know, they have no idea what they're doing, but they think that they're great and are somehow better than the people that came before it. And it's the same thing, you know, with the Wheel of Time
Yeah.
people. Like
100%.
I
It's the stuff before was problematic, and I can do better because I've been told my whole life how special and great I am.
that just disgusting.
All right, so here they go. They dock in the atmosphere of the planet. We know that Vader's on the planet right now, so like, I guess the Devastator is in orbit, about to just freaking smoke the shit out of this little ship.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, this thing is fucked.
Also, I love in 5 seconds they're gonna be like, "Where's Wade?" Like, were you not on the radio when I told you open the door? We have one ship returning.
Right?
Because you closed the ramp immediately after the one ship came in, and then you're like, "Where's Wade though?" Oh yeah, he stopped for a Starbucks. He'll be here. Absolute ridiculous.
Lola with a red LED. I am assuming that at some point
No one's gonna notice
Reva
though, right?
yeah, Reva explained to Vader that her tracker has a very obvious red LED indicator on it that everyone is going to notice, at which point Vader murders her.
I just figured that when he realizes that actually the tracker is just with the girl and is not with Kenobi, and so it's just going to go to Alderaan, and then Kenobi is going to be gone again, he would also murder her. Because again, they already know they're going to Alderaan.
Yeah. Th-
And
This
Matt,
also brings up a thing about droids in this universe. Like every time a droid ever fell into enemy hands,
it's got a
knowing that they
tracker.
can put trackers on them, it needs to be destroyed. Like I'm sorry, R2D2 and C3PO. Like we gotta go. You go into the incinerator. You might have a tracker. Can't do it.
Or you'd think with like the prevalence of trackers that they would have like, I don't know, scanners.
Yeah, right. The what is it called? The KF scanner
Oh
to
man.
sense like outgoing.
Yeah.
God damn.
Ridiculous.
So I grabbed a couple of memes while I was going through this. So I hope you guys are willing to stick around.
Oh man. These are great. Oh man. I suppose we probably don't want to sit here and just chat through all these. I don't know how many you have, but yeah, throw them up there. People
I
can
think I've got a
pause.
couple more,
People
but
can pause and look at them. But damn.
yeah. So this is what it looks like when the speeders are shooting at other things, and this is what it looks like when the speeders are shooting at Reva.
Well, they blew their pyrotechnic budget on the other shot.
Yes, but that is that is all I got. So
Oh man.
yeah,
Okay. An hour and 20 plus minutes in. I got nothing else. I'm done with
uh,
this. I don't even know if I can subject myself to doing more of these.
right. Go watch The Boys season 3 and
Or
like
Stranger Things. Stranger Things,
or Stranger
good.
Things. Yep.
If you haven't watched Reacher, good. Honestly, so many good things. Go watch anything from the 80s or 90s over this.
Go watch Top Gun Maverick if you want to see
There you go.
you
There you
know
go.
airplane work. Actually,
I
I kind of do want to get your take on that, Pips. We should maybe sit down and talk about that one.
Yeah, we could do something like that. I will tell you spoiler. The idea that flares are pulling radar guided missiles, no.
Yes, I. So
But
that was
well,
actually a question. Was were they radar guided or were they thermal?
so without going too far into it, because we're already discussing Star Wars here, they definitely said they were radar guided, at least for their initial tracking. There are missiles that have terminal guidance, so they're cued, or they do sort of like surveillance stuff with radar, and then have terminal guidance that are IR. But if you look at the nose cone on those missiles, they were radar guided SAMs. They were not IR SAMs. And also, generally, IR SAMs are not what you would use against a fixed wing aircraft. So yeah, yeah. That's all I got. Star Wars Kenobi Episode 4, atrocious, 0 of 5 stars.
To the ground and bring, uh, gross negligence charges to everyone involved.
I love the
Uh,
hate online though. Okay, I think we're gonna call
yeah,
it.
yep.
All right,
Actually, real quick, if you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe.
there you go. All right, have a good one.
You too.